Hi, I'm Brianna Bailey, business reporter for the Oklahoman. I'm here with Jennifer Moniz, Executive Director of the Oklahoma Educated Workforce Initiative. We're going to be talking about the shortage of skilled workers in the state and the problem that it creates for filling the workforce demands of the future. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
So I'm just going to start off with my first question. What are some of the reasons Oklahoma is facing a shortage of educated workers in the coming years?
Well, one of the main reasons is education. They anticipate that by 2020, 64% of jobs in Oklahoma will require some form of post-secondary education, whether it be an industry certification, an associate's degree, bachelor's, master's, and on. So right now, only 33% of Oklahomans have any such degree. And so obviously there's a huge gap there between, a lot of jobs, manufacturing jobs and jobs in the state, you used to be able to have, just with a high school diploma, but manufacturing jobs have become more technical. A lot of the jobs in the oil and gas industry require at least a 1 or 2 year industry certification from Career Tech. And there's a gap there of not only people actually getting those degrees and certifications, but awareness of what jobs are out there. Right now, welders, there's a huge need for welders in Oklahoma, in the oil and gas industry specifically, but just generally, pipeline maintenance techs. We have a lot of pipeline in Oklahoma. There's not a lot of pipeline maintenance techs. These are jobs that are middle class income jobs, but you can't just go straight from high school and get these jobs. So making sure that people are aware of what jobs are out there and are needed, and the education that's tied to them to make sure that they can get those jobs.
Okay. What can you give a sort of broad overview of a few ways that Oklahoma's education system could be improved to help students compete in the workforce?
Yeah, it's really, it's not, some like rocket science answer. 75% of Oklahoma 8th graders are not proficient in math. 75% of them. 71% of Oklahoma 8th graders are not proficient in reading. And so really, you're talking about very basic skills that we are not, for whatever reason, and there's a multitude of reasons, but we are not teaching our students even the very basic math and reading skills that they need to not only graduate from high school. We only have 74% of the class of 2012 actually graduated high school. So there's a gap there that we're losing kids, and they don't have even the very basic skills that they need to get a high school diploma and to go on to college or career certifications without remediation. In Oklahoma, we have a 40% remediation rate. And so we really, it's not, there's not a silver bullet answer to that question as far as, if we did this, it'll fix it. But really focusing even on math and reading skills and just kind of trying to get that basic level of skills up in Oklahoma, I think would make a huge difference.
Why is this such a significant problem for the state's economy?
A couple of things. I talked about the high school dropout rate and how the class of 2012, only 74% graduated from high school. Statistics show that if you don't even have a high school diploma, your earning potential over your lifetime is severely diminished. And so from an economic standpoint, you're talking about less income taxes, less sales taxes, fewer people buying houses, buying cars, spending money in the economy. So that obviously has an effect, but also, we want every kid in Oklahoma to have a shot at their dream job. That's what's interesting to me and has been interesting working in this field, is kind of the disconnect between the business community and the education community. They've been at odds, historically, and not completely able to work together to try and solve this problem, but we all have the same goal in mind. We all want Oklahoma kids to stay in Oklahoma, to get Oklahoma jobs, and to be successful, and to grow our state's economy right here in our state. And so if we all have the same goal, I'm hopeful that we can kind of bridge that gap, and that's what the Oklahoma Educated Workforce Initiative is working to do, is kind of bridge that gap between the education and business world and say, how can we work together to get some of these numbers up so that we can grow our economy, because we all want that.
What are some of the areas that we'll see the greatest shortage of workers?
Healthcare is a huge need. As you know, baby boomers are continuing to retire, getting older, and they need a lot of healthcare services. And we're not talking about doctors. I mean, if you talk to business owners across the state, and I still think on the education side, a lot of people are stuck. If you have career days, it's like doctors, lawyers, and architects, that come and talk to the kids about what to do. But that we're not talking about a shortage of doctors, though that is a problem. But, you're talking about nurse techs, physician's assistants, some of the things that you can do with just, a 1 or 2 year certification or an associate's degree even. So I think that especially in Oklahoma, where, just statistically we have a high poverty rate, this is a way to kind of address the middle class problem. We hear a lot about that on the national level right now, of moving people more into middle class jobs where, with a 1 or 2 year certification, I just don't think enough people are aware of those programs and what it would mean to have a certification like that, and what kind of jobs they would be able to get if they did have it.
Can you talk a little bit about the goals of the Oklahoma Educated Workforce Initiative and why you feel it's important that the business community get involved with education in the state?
Yeah, the Oklahoma Educated Workforce Initiative, we're barely a year old now, almost a year old, really was formed because of that disconnect that I talked about with the business community and the education community not really able to almost speak the same language. And so we really hope to build a coalition of business leaders that know this is a huge issue. I mean, you talk to business leaders across Oklahoma, they can't find the workers that they need to fill the jobs that they have. And so, but they don't tend to go to their local schools and talk about that, or they don't go to their career techs and say, hey, if you had this program, this would really help us. So trying to be that bridge between the business community and the education community to say, how can we all get together and talk about solutions? So that's really what the Oklahoma Educated Workforce Initiative is all about.
Well, this is a complex issue, and I appreciate you joining us today to kind of give us a broad overview of some of the many parts of it. Thank you.